Time to format our meeting minutes document. And before we begin that, it's important that we name our file. So name your file. And then next, we're going to create our letterhead and heading. And to do that, we can go to our agenda and copy that same information that we used from before. That way you don't have to type it. So these are going to be the minutes from the meeting that the lawn company had on Monday. So what I'm doing now is I'm taking that information from the agenda that we created, and I'm just going to paste it into the heading. I will change this portion of it though. We'll add an underline. All right, now that we have our heading completed, we're going to begin creating the body of the document. So after you add your line spacing, we want to align our text to the left. And then next we're going to create our labels. Now the first label we're going to create is an attendance, but we have to first create a numbered list. And I'm going to use Roman numerals. So the first label is going to say attendance, because we do have to keep track of attendance for our meetings. All right, then we're going to press enter. Now, before we type our second label, I'm going to press tab, and I'm going to add the labels present and the labels absent. All right, so what I did was I pressed tab, and I'll show you again. So we got attendance, press enter, and then you press the tab key for a sub label, and we're going to label this present. All right, and you press enter again, and we're going to label this one absent. All right, because we need to keep track of everyone who is present and everyone who is absent. So next we're going to press enter again, but we don't want to type anything there. We want to go back to 2, Roman numeral 2. So what we're going to do is going to hold the shift key and you press tab, and the tab moves backwards. So that's a good tip to remember. Next, we're going to type unfinished business. And if you all recall, unfinished business was a segment of the agenda. So here's where we're going to type all the notes for that particular segment. And then after unfinished business, we have new business. All right, and there was a segment for new business in the agenda as well. And then after new business, there's a section called actions taken. And in this particular section of the meeting minutes document is where any final decisions that are made are recorded. So if there's any decisions that are made throughout the meeting, that information will be recorded in the actions taken. And then after that, it's just the adjournment. So we'll record the time that the meeting was adjourned at this point. All right, so now let's start filling in all of our information. But I would first like to double space this just to give us a better feel. Now for the attendance, we're going to start by typing everyone's name that was present. So I do recall Mr. Steve Buppy being present. Let me turn off the bold feature. Mr. Steve Buppy was present. Mr. Nick Buppy was present. Also, Mr. Gio Vasquez was present. And then another individual, Mr. Ty Green, Chris Grace is his name, and Keel. Cool. So these 6 individuals were present for the meeting. Now, there wasn't anyone absent, but if there were people absent for the meeting, you would put their names underneath the absence section. And sometimes you may not know everyone that is supposed to be at a meeting, and you'll have to send around a sign-up sheet and then type the names later. But since there's only 6 individuals that are working the business, they're easy to remember. All right, so let's jot down our notes for the unfinished business. Now, if we're looking at our agenda, we'll be able to keep track of the things that are being discussed during the meeting. And one of the first topics of unfinished business was the missing backpack blower. And during this segment of the meeting, I'm going to press backspace to get rid of that, and we're going to add bullets. So during this segment of the unfinished business, Nick came to the conclusion that the blower fell off of the trailer. Okay. So that's the conclusion they came up with. Now, because this happened, some actions taken are that everyone must make sure the equipment is secure before leaving the job sites. Okay, so there we have it. All right, so that's an action taken. And also, considering that the blower got lost and everyone knows who was responsible, or everyone knows the individuals that were present when the blower got missing, there is going to be a potential loss of income because that piece of equipment has to be replaced. So the individuals that were present on that day when the blower got lost, they're going to receive some kind of payroll deduction. This should motivate them to secure the equipment before driving away from the job sites, knowing that they're going to have to pay for that equipment if it gets lost. All right, so that's the actions taken. All right, so the next topic of unfinished business was the broken mower. The broken mower. All right, now Keel, which is one of the mower operators, he did admit he ran over a soda can. All right, why is it froze? Why is it froze? Enter. All right, there it is. So Keel admitted he ran over a soda can. And this wasn't intentional. But because of that, all the mower operators must walk the property before beginning to cut the grass. Okay. All right. So that's another action taken. And the leaders of the operation stress that it is important that all mower operators walk the property before beginning to cut the grass, because if you walk the property, you'll be able to pick up any debris that's in the yard, find any rocks or anything, because that can damage the equipment and potentially fly and hit and damage people. All right, so that's the unfinished business. As far as the new business is concerned, during the meeting, Mr. Steve Buppy discussed increasing efficiency. He discussed increasing efficiency. So, in order to increase the efficiency of the business, Mr. Buppy decided to separate the guys into two groups of three. So, let me turn this bold feature off. I do not want that text to be bold. Okay. And so, with the teams being separated, they'll be able to divide the daily workload. All right, and that's how they plan to increase efficiency. And the actions taken, we can add that there has been two teams of three being created. Oh, forgot my bullet point there. Enter. Okay. All right, and that is that. That concludes the meeting notes from Monday. And we can say that the meeting is adjourned at 7:28. Let's work.